show where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now, live from Zeppo's alongside Cougar head coach Nick Rolovich, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
Great to be with you. Here it is, that time of the week. We are talking football here in Zeppo's, and we're just a few weeks away from kick, and we're very pleased to be joined to start the show off with our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. Nick Rolovich is en route.
Hitter.
Yeah, pinch hitter. That's right.
Start off, yeah.
That's right. An elite righty, I think, off the bench. Yeah,
not elite, but just righty.
Well, debatable. Debatable. Really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure, as always.
So, since we last spoke on the record, this is just post-schedule release and daily testing. How has it all been going as the team has been getting into some sort of a routine here, getting set for kickoff?
Well, these last 24 hours have been great days for Washington State. Both basketballs are going, football's going. We're getting more and more toward normalcy, and we talk all the time, Chaz. And the way we're wired at Washington State, we're all about progress and process. And when you walk into women's basketball and they're diving all over the place, and you walk into basketball and they're screaming that I just took that charge, give me credit for that, and you're walking into football and they're competing every rep, these are the best days. Because these are what lead to the wins, and these are ultimately what separates Washington State from everybody else. Because we're going to put in the work. The lights are only on inside those buildings. No one's watching. The team, the coaches are putting in the work now, putting in the time. They're happy because this is what they want to do, and that lifts the spirits up of our entire athletic department to see them doing what they want to do. And so these are great days because it's been a long, hard struggle to get here. And now we just got, now we're all keeping our fingers crossed till, November 7th is the first time one of our teams get to go, and it'll be football at Oregon State.
On campus with Bowler and the Cougar Football Complex and the Gray W with all the student athletes eating together, coaches are eating together. Teams influence each other's energy levels more than maybe fans realize, right? They kind of interact and intermingle and see each other more so than fans are able to just watch or listen.
Yeah, I'd argue our campus has been hit the hardest because of COVID, because our student athletes can't interact like they used to. What we sell is this family environment, which is really built on real relationships. It's our student athletes interacting around academics, around food services, around the weight room, like all these places. We are a community, no different than Pullman. Like, we're ultimately just a microcosm of Pullman when it's all said and done. So to take that away has been a challenge. I know, even talking with Jen Greeny, just trying to get their freshmen to feel a little bit more a part of this, because they do practice, they do weights, and they go back to their apartments. This isn't what we sold. What we sold is, hey, you're going to come play in this old school gym that's going to be maybe the best home court advantage in the Pac-12. Students are going to come out and support you. You're going to see all these other student athletes come out and support you. Those are things we actually sell that are real, that don't happen in other places that we haven't been able to deliver. But like the last couple of days, though, there's steps in the right direction. It's just so awesome to see our athletes go compete again. And it's just this is the heart of what we do, and it's just fun watching them get better every day. It's fun watching them fight to figure out. It's fun watching football for a little bit, watching them. Us and you and I just talking on the sideline. Does he actually keep that ball? Does he? What happens in this offense? These are the fun things that these guys are all trying to figure out. It's fun talking to the offensive linemen. They're fired up to run block. Think about that. They're fired up to do all these things, and that brings just so much more energy to our athletic department every single day.
Before all of this was announced and we had a November 7th date, it was fun to hear from you and get as behind the curtain as possible on league-wide discussions, nationwide discussions, and how these decisions were being made. How have those discussions evolved since we figured out the schedule? And have you kind of gone back to saying you're focused on the Cougs more than the league now because that's all baked in?
Well, we've been working diligently. I know our Deputy AD, Brian Blair, is here, and he's one of the key voices in that football meeting room. He's one of the voices that understands how football is supposed to be run at this level. So we're him and Jason Severko on our football staff represent us at a high level, and are making sure that, hey, as we try to build this season and all the potential curveballs, nuances that we have, that we're prepared for. But it's going to be different. I think we finally got our game ops manual sent to us, and everything from who's allowed on the field, what we do with you guys, how testing's going to go, what they recommend for hotels and buses, like all those. So the experts, and we do have expertise on our campus, and people like Brian Blair and Jason Zaverko, they have that expertise because they're in it every day. But, we feel great as a league. I was telling Brian, I sat in on the One Football Working Group call last week, and just across the board in our league, you feel like, hey, the football administrators, the football contacts in our league, Merten Hanks coming on board, I'd argue, the collection of minds that we have in our league don't take a backseat to anybody. And I think we're putting ourselves, if there's a way to put yourself in a better than average chance for success in this COVID environment, we see what's going on in the SEC right now. I mean, it's going to be a roll of the dice, but I feel great about our planning, and hopefully we can get all these 7 games in, but it's going to be a week at a time.
You and I really have not talked about the addition of Merten Hanks in the PAC offices. For those who don't know, Merten Hanks was recently hired.
Do his dance.
Say it again.
Do his
right.
Dance.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I've got it. He had this famous kind of head bob thing that he would do with it when he had like a pick six, which was regularly because he was on some of the great 49er teams of all time. But he's now has an integral role as a football mind, I think, in all things football.
Yeah,
for the PAC.
He's our lead football administrator, and actually worked. He was the football administrator in the league. I just left, so I do have a little bit of background with Merten, and it's been awesome. That was his first job. It's awesome to see how much he's grown. He has a very good strategy in how he manages the relationship with the coaches, how he utilizes the resources on our campus, like Brian Blair. So I mean, to Larry Scott's credit and our league's credit, they found the right person to kind of just take, which is good, bad, or indifferent. It is the highest profile sport that we have in our league, and we all collectively need to make sure that the PAC, because there is a beauty contest that's going to have to happen this year, and we want to put we want it to be Washington State, and if not Washington State, we need a Pac-12 rep in the college football playoff, and we got to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward with everything with Pac-12 football.
I don't think this year would really be complete if there wasn't a shocker in terms of a disparity from media votes to whatever happens at the back end of the year. Yeah. If that was ever going to happen, it'd be in 2020.
It would be the ultimate 2020. I mean, where we're going to be now compared to December 20th when the selection show happens, I mean, it's a whole different world because, I mean, the SEC is a classic example. I mean, I was in just watching them try to react to all this stuff. I mean, it's wild stuff that teams have to deal with.
I think I heard Nick Saban was coaching on a Zoom.
I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, and he won't be on the sideline.
He won't be. Yeah, and there's so many rules that come into place. I mean, just talking through, what coach can go to a booth, but if this were the sport of basketball, there are actually rules that legislate they have to be in the building, and then you also have a competitive imbalance there. If this were basketball, if Coach K can go up on one side and watch up top, why couldn't the other team do it? So these are all the things, because nobody wants to lose games either,
right.
and everyone's going to try to figure out how to make something an advantage.
Do you think, not to get too far from football, but I'm thinking about what you said for hoops, are we going to have like hockey boards kind of thing?
Well, we got a mad scientist named Sean Deed, so I try to get out of his way. So the NCAA has set some parameters. Our league is going to weigh in, and typically our league and to the benefit of our student athletes will be more restrictive than even what the NCAA has per our testing. I mean, no matter where we land, we made the decisions for the right reasons, and the fact we have daily testing is critical for us to go forward. So I would suspect that the floor for basketball will look a little bit like we saw in the NBA bubble. Okay. A lot of spacing, scoring table on the opposite side of
video fan.
Yeah, we can get there. Yeah, I mean, we're still working. We're hoping. I think we're in a good place with cardboard fans. Is that right? Yeah, hopefully, we make that announcement soon here. And but we're gonna, because we owe it to our student athletes. They need to see faces in the stands, and it's a great conundrum we have. Is we got a whole football staff. I sold to Nick Rolovich. Hey, you know what? You're going to have the best home field advantage in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Our students will have your back like you would not believe. And he won't even know what it feels like to be in a football, be in a Martin Stadium game for at least another year.
Right.
But we got to help our student athletes say, all right, there's so much energy we get from all the Cougs in the building, unlike any other place, that we're not going to be able to replicate that. But what are some of the other things we can do to try to help our guys have some kind of home field advantage?
I don't want to jump the gun on it. The cardboard fan thing's been really fun in certain places. Martin Stadium maybe will have some cardboard.
Yeah, hopefully, but I promise you there'll be no purple on those.
Yeah, right.
On any of those cardboards.
Love it. Hey, can I keep you for another segment?
Absolutely,
okay, great. All right, we're up against a break. We'll take it. We're live here at Zeppo's. Our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun, is with us. We are socially distanced. We're doing everything to code and policy, and a huge thanks to Zeppo's for helping us figure out how to keep this going and keep good going. Coach Rolovich is en route, and we'll continue live here next. Coach Rolovich now. As it is great to be with you this time of the week. Great to see you, Coach.
Great to be with you and everyone here at Zeppo.
Absolutely. And huge thanks to our Director of Athletics, Pat Shun.
That was a solid pitch hint right there.
Always great fun.
He always puts the bat on the ball.
Oh, always in play. It's always in play.
Always in play.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun to talk to him, program-wide,
right.
or I should say athletic department-wide, about the energy and guys bouncing around. Having come from practice myself, it's a little more game urgency ready, I think, and there's a lot of really good energy guys running around.
Got to be. There's a lot of good things happen all through the athletic department, I think, with Brian Green and some of the guys he's getting. Obviously, coming back with what Kyle did at the end of last year and what he's got possibly going this year.
You guys are buddies, too. You and Coach Green and Coach Smith and all the other coaches, too. You guys all sort of see each other.
I think there's a real nice camaraderie throughout the athletic department, not even just with the coaches, but even all the staff and everybody. I think everyone's here for a common goal, which is nice to be a part of.
Yeah. How much do you feel positive reverberations from, for instance, Brian Green, and I'm not supposed to talk about it too much in depth, but a big recruit was announced yesterday, soon to be verified, I'm sure, by Coach Green, and we'll talk about that on the record at some point. But it's got to be good, kind of all boats rise, right? It's sort of a good thing for all.
Yeah, it is, and it's a pretty unselfish group that are here for, like I said, one purpose, and really not okay, here's football, leave us alone. It's all, if we can help in any way, we'd like to help. And I think that's pretty consistent throughout the athletic department.
While we're on the topic, I talked to Kyle a lot last year about multi-sport athletes and football players crossing over to basketball. When that's happened, they've often been better football players. Not always, but often. That's often been the case. How do you feel about high school athletes playing multiple sports, and then are there any sports you say, I really like it when a football player is good at this, it translates well?
Well, I think encouraging multi-sports, especially growing up, is incredibly important, just for the competition aspect, the adjustment of athleticism you got to do from sport to sport, being able to cognitively change your mindset from basketball to football, or kind of all that thing. I think that's all positive for young people. Wrestling for O-linemen, that's a nice quality when you're recruiting O-linemen.
Getting low.
Just good body control. A lot of that stuff is, and I think a lot of O-line coaches like guys who can wrestle.
That's a lot of that's that super heavyweight division, right?
That's a lot of spandex.
Yeah. How much, when you look at O-linemen, do you look for a senior in high school who is already massive, or someone who can become that?
I think we're more of a developmental, get the athlete with a good frame, especially with the nutrition, all the resources at our school. I think it even more emphasizes doing it that way.
Yeah, Cougs have become accustomed to seeing stories like Abe Lucas, Andre Dillard, guys who have come on campus, Cole Madison, who was actually a tight end and then was drafted by the Packers at O-line, guys who put on these incredible amounts of weight but still maintain athleticism.
And they bring the athleticism with them.
It's amazing.
And it's not a just sudden just load of weight. It's a gradual deal, and that allows them to keep their athleticism a lot, I think.
Some of them, and maybe Abe would reflect this, but some of them seem like they're really meant for it. It's almost easy for him to put that weight on. His frame seems to cater to, a 310, 320-pound frame.
Yeah. I've only been around Abe for, less than a year now, but I'd be interested to see what he looked like coming out of high school. And
you've got to look at the pictures.
Sometimes we do that with, we watched Jameer's and Renard's and Travell's high school highlight film. I think that gives us an idea of what, we were at receivers, but looking what they can develop from to now.
It's fun to juxtapose.
You've got good words, brother.
The juxtapose. You like the juxtapose? That's a good
words.
It's fun to. You look at Renard in the slot, really next to Abe. Sometimes, right? You've got Abe Lucas.
Yeah.
And you've got the biggest guy and maybe the smallest guy in the pack. Same sport, both blocking.
Both Cougs.
Both Cougs.
Right next to each other.
I love that element
Yeah.
of football where it's not just
Right.
the one kind of guy.
And Renard's a longer athlete than you may think. I think he plays a lot longer than maybe he is, but just body type wise, he does have some. I know it sounds funny, but he has some length at his height.
Yeah, and also one of the great misnomers going back to Kyle, but it seems relevant here. Head height is very different than fingertip length of you can have wingspan really is more reflective of how long a player plays as opposed to.
I remember a couple of years ago they talked about starting to measure guys from their shoulder
instead of
their top of their head
to get a sense of what wingspan
or
might
what
be.
the more of the body looks like, not just big-headed guys that are hard to it's hard to. No, but Kyle and Brian both have tried to funnel recruits to us.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I think there's a great open communication in that sense.
That's fun. Yeah. And how open or interested would you think would a college athlete be able to play multiple sports?
I think if you're good enough, transitioning right into basketball, could be a little difficult. The thing in the spring with baseball is where does spring practice end and baseball begin? Mm-hmm. Those types of things, and can you kind of mix in the days? And I'm all for it, to be honest with you. It's just because football's got to, quote unquote, take the scholarship or foot the bill. So
right.
Football would probably have to come first in all those situations.
Well, maybe Kyle would say basketball comes first, and Brian would say baseball comes first.
Well, they would, but it can't go on their books. It goes on the football books.
Oh, so you kind of have to share. Interesting.
Yeah.
You'd sort of share it or shuffle it around.
I think at some point it was, okay, you're a great receiver. You're going to get a track scholarship. But come play football.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Can't do that anymore. Ah, interesting. How do you feel about track and field for running backs?
Wish I could have done it. I'm not very fast. No, it is. It's I think especially good for speed development, and it's a verified time that we can reflect to in recruiting with all these guys, and many guys do run track.
Yeah, it seems like when we get the little recruiting profiles on signing day, try to figure out who did what in high school, that's always in there. Is track time and certain.
The 100 times almost as consistent, or as consistent in recruiting as the 40 time.
Yeah. Do you know why 40? Is that the football? That's just the standard football distance. We always hear about the 40-yard dash.
I have no idea. That's a great question.
Yeah, I've always 40 yards is not
kind of like how come a league? What's a league? You got to know what a league is.
What do you mean a league?
Like League Under the Sea, 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. Like a fortnight, which
fortnight,
I don't know. I think that's 2 weeks, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Actually.
I think it's right.
No.
Do you know how deep a league?
No,
I don't either.
I should have, because that would have been pretty cool if I could have spit that out right now.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah, and then there's the metric system, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually has a lot of merit.
Decimal system.
Yeah. Also, right. Hey, we're up against a break. We'll take it.
Okay.
We are live here with Coach Rolovich. We'll get into some football.
All right.
And I sent a late request for questions. The Twitter was down today, Coach. The Twitter was down. It was
Twitter was down.
Tough times for those who are into the social media. I think it's up now
back up and running.
Back up. So we're on the Twitter machine.
That's interesting.
Once again, I know. Yeah.
I was having trouble tweeting today.
Well, it was down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. But you can now. I think.
That's
so, yeah, if you want
All
to.
Right. Thank you for everybody for coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're live here. We'll be right back after this break. Week talking football here with Coach Rolo and Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill 2020 Coors Brewing Company. Golden, Colorado, celebrate responsibly. We do have some questions coming in on Twitter. Folks don't call as much anymore, Coach. They like to tweet and text.
Thumbs.
Right? Yeah. Phone.
There's power in these thumbs.
What do you think of how are you phone call versus text? Are you a caller?
I think there's an art to both.
Yeah.
I'm more of a caller than a FaceTimer.
Okay.
I will say that.
Will you ever surprise anybody with a FaceTime? Would you ever just FaceTime? Or is that like you need to set a schedule?
No, I guess I would, but
Yeah.
I think I go straight to the call.
Go call first.
Yeah. But there's an art to texting, I think.
How so?
Just get a chance to review it and what message are you sending, grammar.
Yeah. Are you a text? There's texting with friends and family, and then there's probably a different thing with texting like recruiting. We can't really talk recruiting too much.
No, I think that it's an easy way to check in with them. But I still think there's a lot of value in handwritten letters. As long as they're thoughtful, I think it's something that people appreciate getting in the mail. I really do.
Yeah.
Parents and the recruits, and I think you can, I'm a big fan of good cursive.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm pretty proud of my cursive. Actually.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Is it like are you being humble? Is it like calligraphy?
No, I wish it was, but I feel like my mom had good cursive, so
yeah,
she has good cursive.
I try, and my wife's is way better. When we
Yeah.
wite notes, she should write. I'll sign
you
them.
dictate.
Try, yeah. Sometimes that's kind of ideally I want to contribute, But we do have some write-in questions. We've got some Twitter questions. We have a phone line. Everybody likes to tweet 866-268-4825 866-Kook-Talk. Same number as always, but we'll go with the write-ins. If you're here, we'll get your questions on. Here's a question, a write-in question, Coach. To what extent is it the responsibility of a college coaching staff to prepare players to play professionally?
To what extent? I think what I say to everyone is I hope all of them have a dream to play in the NFL. It's not our job to crush that dream, but I think it's part of it. But more of it is I think growing the next generation of husbands and fathers and community leaders, but also having the ability for the guys that have a chance and know that that's kind of where their focus is, especially guiding them through the process after their senior year. I think that's when it really kicks in. I think that's where more of the responsibility, in my mind, comes in.
Combine.
Well, agents, who, what's the process like? Not only getting drafted, but going into that that world, that lifestyle, where it's they can be pretty popular guys at this level too, but when you get draft pick, I mean that's a whole different world.
The business, more of a business,
That's right?
What do you think the biggest?
Well, maybe this goes with the question. I text John Ursua today, who is with the Seahawks, and I said, what do you get fined if you miss a weigh-in or you miss a medical appointment? And he said it's like $50,000.
Wow.
And so if you really want to make the NFL, but you don't want to make your medical appointment, or you don't want to do the weigh-in, or you don't want to be properly hydrated, or things like that, I mean, it's all conditioning them for being successful at that level.
So you'll tell maybe a freshman or a younger.
Exactly. I told the freshman today, I go, you say you want to be there, but you don't want to do this to get there. I think John Richardson does one of the best exercises for real life that I've ever seen with our corner group. He ties in NFL paychecks and bonuses and fines and taxes and real estate and purchasing a car. I mean, I wish, he's doing it with the corners right now. It is a tremendous exercise for life lessons.
So he's sort of breaking down the budget and finances of.
He has a draft. You get drafted to Tampa Bay. Here are the taxes in Florida. Here's the taxes in California.
Huh.
And it's an eye-opening thing for the young guys to start putting that process together. I think it's as valuable as anything moving on into their adult life.
Sounds like a great idea.
It's great. I wish I could do it with the whole team. And I think I will take the corners that, they'll end up being the general managers for another position group. and take the O-line through it, or quarterbacks through it, or I hope all the position groups we get to do it. It's fascinating, and it's so effective.
Interesting. Not just that. That's a great life lesson. That's not just football either.
He deserves an award. It's really good.
Let's talk about Coach Richardson a little bit.
Sure.
We haven't talked a ton about him, nor his position group or the entire secondary. Who is Coach Richardson? And for those who are not familiar, and how has he been, and how's his group been?
Coach Richardson is from L.A. Coach Richardson, the first time I met him, we were doing a satellite camp type deal in the Bay Area, and we were both kind of going after this one cornerback. And at these satellite camps, you can get close and you're coaching, and you can still kind of mix in some recruiting. And I just thought he had the most dynamic personality. It was genuine. It was recruiting through teaching and coaching. It made people want to play for him. And I said right there, I'd love to coach with that guy. And not that we stayed in touch a terrible amount, but we have mutual friends. And when he was when I was able to come here, he was one of the first guys I reached out to. I was going to try to get him no matter who the coordinator is going to be.
Really dovetailed well then with Coach Dickert and Wyoming and all that.
And then there's just a bonus, right?
Yeah. And he's with the secondary group.
He's with the corners right now.
And so that would be primarily, although not exclusively, George Hicks, Derek Langford are two of the names that folks are familiar
with. Jaylen Watson.
And Jaylen Watson is a junior college transfer who is a prototype. 6'3", maybe 215. If you had to build a larger DB, it's probably Jaylen Watson.
Now you want to. I hope everyone gets a chance to meet him because, he's worked very hard. He's had a dose of the real world. He worked hard to get here. I think he's very appreciative of everything that this opportunity, whether it's the gear, the food, and some of that comes with JC, but he was working in the real world, while he was trying to get his degree and help his family. And I'm very happy that we stayed with him and he bought in. And he's going to be a positive impact on the field, but he also can be a humbler for some of the guys who maybe, I don't like these, ankle high socks. I want the big sock. He can change that real quick.
Has some mature perspective.
Yeah, you want to go flip burgers, or you want to complain about your socks? So,
who am I missing, if anybody, at the corner?
Shaw Smith.
Shaw Smith, true freshman.
Yeah, really making an impact early on. I attacked it with a pretty mature mindset, So I can see him being a contributor this year also.
And those are 4 corners. And if we were to go 1 and 2, not that I'm trying to put you on the spot, but those are 4 guys.
I think we'll play some multiple guys. I think we got the ability to play some more guys than just 2.
And so, Coach Richardson with those corners and groups of 4, how do you break it out in practice? How much individual work is there, coaches to their groups, and then how much 11 on 11 or 7 on 7 is there?
We're trying to run 2 groups at the same time, so we're getting more reps. More guys are getting opportunities to show what they can do, which, you're getting, instead of a one, we call it a 1 spot or a 2 spot, but 1 spot you're getting 12 plays, but in a 2 spot you're getting two sets of that, right? You're getting 24 plays, and you're getting multiple guys getting similar looks, and it matches up on film, right? Here's these guys doing it, here's these guys doing it in the next clip, so as much as we can do that, especially in a shortened training camp scenario like we are, I think it's been pretty effective. It also doesn't just have people standing on the sideline, right? One of the things we're struggling with is how much do we condition? Do we play them into shape? Do we practice them into shape? Do we got to do extra conditioning after? So this is a way for everyone to make sure they're moving around, getting work in.
Do you check in with Dwayne Bradshaw on that, the strength coach, to figure out who's in?
Yeah, he keeps a keen eye on that.
We'll do one more question here,
let's do it.
and then we'll take a break.
Quick.
No, don't please be as loquacious as you choose. There you go.
This guy.
All right, one of the fun arguments and this is from the perspective of the author here. One of the fun arguments I have with my friends is, at what level of football does winning become the number one priority, going all the way from Pee Wee to the NFL? When is it about winning the football game? as the top priority?
On game day, you know, you'd like to say the NFL, but obviously that part of our job is to win football games. So and I even think it creeps into high school. You know, I do. But that's how I would approach it. You know, you got to get these guys loving football early on in their career, in their life, really, and then you know it's when something else is at stake. You know, college scholarships, NFL draft. You know, you got those types of things where it kind of heats up. You know, where it's solely about that at the NFL.
There's a point at which
but there's peewee coaches that are trying to win the game. You know, and that's what they're supposed to do.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, as long as the kids are still enjoying it and they're still learning and they're still not coming home not liking football. You know, I think you should teach them how to win, but you also got to teach them how to play. You got to teach them how to play the right way, and you know, it hurts to lose. I get that. I'm as bad as anybody, but you know, part of it is growing the young kids.
At some point, the fun, as you grow and you're trying to become part of a cause for a goal or a team for the goal of winning, that is the fun at some point, right? If you have the holistic understanding. Otherwise, it would just be about stats and numbers.
I think you see some of the best guys playing. I mean, you're seeing highlights of Mahomes right there, right? He's having as much fun as he was probably in the street playing. And some of the guys who are able to go back to that moment and just love playing the game and love playing ball with their teammates, I think they have consistent success.
Keep maintaining the joy that they started with.
That's right. Not letting my contract's up, this, that. You know, don't let that noise enter in. You know, we talk a lot about don't listen to other people, don't listen to yourself. You know, talk to yourself. Tell yourself positive things. Tell yourself, you know, visualize yourself doing wonderful things at the next practice or at the next game day or whatever. So June Jones was big on that, and I started doing it, and it started, you know, good things started happening. So I'm
self-talk, positive self-talk.
Yep. Talk to yourself. Don't listen, because we tend to go negative. You know, but if don't listen to yourself, talk to yourself.
It's kind of a natural human tendency to,
That's right.
to kind of beat yourself up a little bit. Well, we'll keep it positive after this break. We'll keep it rolling. Live here at Zeppo's Talking Football, all kinds of things here with Coach Rolovich.
Here's Matt Chazanow.
Talking football here with Coach Rolo. We are live. Great to see some familiar faces here at Zeppo's each week, every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Here's a question from John and Kelly. Hope you're enjoying Cougar Coach's show, Coach.
I am.
Fantastic to hear. How does the intimate atmosphere compare to other shows you may have done or what it was like in Hawaii? And I think folks who come here every week at Zeppo's, now mind you, this is even more intimate because we're distanced and there's some fewer people here. I mean, we're maxed out on space, but sometimes it's even.
This is probably very similar to how we did it in Hawaii. I've heard stories of how crowded this can get during the season.
Yeah.
So those stories are a little different than how it worked in Hawaii. But
sure.
This is enjoyable, and I appreciate everyone coming and making time and asking questions and.
Love it.
It's good. Seeing families spending time together, it's all good.
Love it. Yeah, we love our Thursday group here. Everybody getting together. It's a great time. So I want to ask you about Aloha Spirit. I want to ask you about all the time that you've spent in Hawaii and how you feel like it has influenced you. You're not a Hawaiian native,
nope.
But you have spent a ton of time and much of your adult life on the islands.
Yep.
There is everybody knows Hawaii is a vacation destination. A lot of why people are attracted to Hawaii is Aloha Spirit and going to the beaches and the different culture.
I think initially people think about the beaches and the palm trees and the sunshine, and that's why they go for it. But after spending some time there, you realize there's a whole really basically a community in the middle of the ocean that thrives off of taking care of each other with a general respect for their neighbor. That's not that it's only in Hawaii, but I think it's the only way Hawaii would thrive. And I think it comes down to the Native Hawaiians and some of the cultures and responsibilities the people had in the communities, a long time ago, but it's carried on, but it's a similar spirit to many places. I think Pullman has that spirit. I call it the Coug spirit, but people are friendly. People are willing to help their neighbors here. People are, looking to do the right thing the majority of the time, and that's similar to what But imagine you're living on an island in some way, shape, or form. What each of us does has an effect on other people in the community. So, and I know it's much different, surrounded by wheat fields instead of ocean, but there's some similarities here.
Are you consciously trying to bring that into the Cougar football program and the Washington State campus, or do you think it just sort of happens naturally?
I think it's already been here, to be honest with you. I enjoy being around that quality of a community. But it also is, we use a phrase, live aloha, which is kind of do the right thing, respect everybody. It's okay to open the door for somebody. It's okay to help somebody, blah, blah, blah. But then it was play warrior. And that's kind of where I'm going with this claws out thing, right? The Cougar walks gently the majority of the day. But when it's time for those claws to come out, that's what I expect from these guys. I expect them to be great members of the community and the university community. And, when they get a chance to go on the football field, that's when the claws come out and they get to go fight.
Guys must be so excited for November 7th with increasing enthusiasm, I would think, week to week. Because the guys were aware. They had to be of the calendar, and there was no game set. Right. There was no schedule, and then it was set. And, well, even once it's set, okay, it's 5-6 weeks out. Now we're really starting to get there.
And I think you're seeing it in practice. You're seeing a real high level of attention. There's a focus level that's pretty complete throughout the whole team. And I think as every day goes by in practice, you're seeing them get better and better. But they also know in about 3 weeks it's game time.
Yeah. Last week was on Rogers when I was there. This Thursday, today was in Martin Stadium, and it felt a little more focused. Different drills, and it was 11 on 11, and some stuff I was seeing was a little different just from execution. But yeah, you can see some guys are starting to figure out their niche and how to attack it.
Yeah, you're just seeing the little wins, small wins. If you can have multiple wins, out of practice, then just build on it and keep going. And it can't be just, okay, I did this right. what did this guy do? What can I learn from him? I mean, there's got to be open communication and the willingness to get better every day.
Do you have a real strong desire to get to tackling? Because, there hasn't been a lot of contact.
Coach Dickert does.
I bet.
I think there needs to be some callousing at the lines of scrimmage for sure. And as much tackling safely as we can do would only prepare our guys. But, that's how good of tacklers are we, And sometimes, and this came up in the staff meeting, sometimes when we scrimmage, right, you're talking about 4 wide receivers, you're talking about incomplete pass, right? Nobody gets tackled. You're talking about catch the ball, get out of bounds on an out route. Nobody gets tackled. So we got to make sure we give the defense enough opportunity to get some of those tackling opportunities as we can.
Yeah, just for reps, right?
Just for reps, yeah. and I think callousing is kind of a good word.
Interesting. We'll take a break. We've got questions on Twitter I want to get to. We've got 2 more write-ins that we will hit. We're on the back quarter of the show. That was really, really fast.
Yeah, I apologize for missing the first part.
Oh, no.
I had to catch some of that 7-on-7 in practice.
Well, there isn't a soul here, nor listening or watching, who would think if that's what is going to help against the Beavers, then that 10 minutes is what should happen. That was the right thing.
I appreciate the understanding.
Oh, for sure. We're back here live in just a moment with Coach Rolovich at Zeppos.
This message.
Coach Rolovich, it is our Thursday night coaches show here at Zeppos. Now, one of these write-in questions is from, this is anonymous, but it's somebody who's here for our basketball show last year. And these are, I want to be very clear, these were Kyle Smith's words. Okay, these are not my words. These are Coach Smith's words about his wonderful wife, Katie, who he described as a quote-unquote work in progress in controlling her enthusiasm during games. How does your family do watching the game? And I will augment this with Katie is fantastic and very passionate person on the sidelines, courtside. Yeah.
And I think it's with basketball, he gets to see a little bit more of his family than I do. But stories I've heard, I think there's some nervousness, and I'm actually impressed with my daughters, at least asked some questions about football I didn't know that she would ask me.
Like schematically?
Yeah, more maybe fundamental rules of the game and things like that.
Interesting.
So, I know my son, is at an age where he kind of gets it and he watches football on TV. My wife is, I think, from what I hear, pretty nervous.
Yeah, like locked in.
Yeah.
How long did it take, another write-in question here, how long did it take for you to get used to the run and shoot as a quarterback? Did you see it before University of Hawaii?
I did not see it before the University of Hawaii. A lot of people, or a lot of the history with quarterbacks is night and day from within a year. I mean, you could go through a year, and the second year is kind of when they really get it and really start anticipating it. Part of that is, right, the receivers also have a comfort level they need to get to, and when they're not thinking, they're just playing. I think it takes some time and it takes reps, and a little bit why we were excited to get some spring ball going, because there's so many little things with the quarterback to kind of work out the kinks for themselves and how they like doing it. But the guys are doing it; they're working hard. I can't say anything but appreciate the way the quarterbacks are attacking not only the competition but attacking the offense. I'm very willing to ask questions and put in extra work. So
I think we need to take one more break here, and then we'll have our final segment. So we'll take it. We're live here at Zeppo's. This is the final segment coming up next year with Coach Rolovich.
And now.
Right, Beto, is this?
Me again. State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Runs into a massive Crimson, does not get the yard. It's a goal line stand.
Live from Zeppo's, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanel.
Back here live at Zeppo's, talking ball here with Coach Rolovich. Got a question on Twitter for you, coaches. We're in our final segment. Couple minutes left. Jennifer Delzer, great Coug, wants to know how Oscar Dragicevic,
what a talented guy,
punter and kicker Blake Mazza are doing. How's the
both
kicking
very
game?
Talented. Both very talented. There seems to there's almost in it. You feel blessed to come into a situation where the specialist group, there's not a lot of worries. Obviously, there's going to be some adjustment and things that we will ask them to do differently or things like that. But a very solid group, top to bottom. Boyle's doing a nice job. There's ability there to help us for sure.
Boyle, help me. That's a new one for me.
We had his brother in Hawaii.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and so he looks like he can be someone to step in if either one of those two isn't getting it done.
Okay, all right, yeah,
or he's needed.
There you go. I would imagine, I've talked a lot with my analyst Alex Brink, all-time great Cougar QB, great AB. If you're,
it'd be great to sit down and talk football with him.
No, he's the best. AB's the best, and I learned so much. And
come watch film with us.
I will tell him.
Yeah.
We've got 60 seconds left. But I was going to talk. No, it's fine. I was going to talk about how underrated the punting game really is. But we are out of time. Huge thanks to Jerry Kylo, who helps get us on the air.
Thanks,
Jared
Jer.
Prenguber, Scott Hoffman helped getting us on. Mike Morabito is back in the studio. To everybody here at Zeppos, don't go anywhere. We'll do our raffle. And if you're listening and you want to come and take part, we recommend
get down
it.
here quick for the raffle.
Recommend it. Highly recommend it. We've got just a couple more weeks before we get to game week and that discussion. Thanks so much. Go Cougs. Thank you, Coach.
Cougs.